2 games of playoff hoops in the Tuesday night. I cannot believe we're here, but a favorite still has not won a game. Timberwolves and Cavs lose. And I'm saying they lost, not the other teams won. Let's get into it. My name is Shlomo Stark,
My name is Levi Jacob.
and this is the NBA Daily Recap in 15 minutes or less.
Hachimura wearing another kind of mask. Oh, he took it out.
Levy, I told you yesterday in predictions that if Indiana wins, I think the series is over. Now, no Mobley, no Garland, no Hunter. But that was like the definition of like a soul breaker, a heartbreaker. The I think the worst way to lose a game is missing the foul shot on purpose, getting your own rebound, and then scoring the game winner. Because it's just like, wow, we stink. And to do it in Cleveland, to do it in game 2 when you already won game like 1-0, um, after Kenny Atkinson just won Coach of the Year, everyone is going nuts about this team, including my mother and you yesterday. And for this to happen is just like, this is a huge moment for Tyrese Haliburton. Huge legacy moment in his young career. His actual stats were fine. It was like 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 7-11 shooting. But that finish was historic. And again, the Cavs could win 4 straight now, and everyone will be healthy, and I'll be eating my own words. But I really think that broke the Cavs.
Yeah, I mean, despite Donovan Mitchell's 48 points or whatever it was,
Donovan Mitchell was phenomenal. He had
he's
48
incredible.
points. And I'll just say for myself, even though I don't know if people are listening to this to hear about me, but I feel like maybe they are, so we'll just do this. I was so excited to be in America and like watch a game at a normal time. I was like, wow, it's 7 p.m. and the game is starting. By halftime, I was asleep. I was so jet lagged. So I just had to watch this game like later, like after once I woke up, like watch the highlights and things like that. But yeah, Mitchell was amazing. 15 of 30, 48 points. Jared Allen was also good. He like made up for the Millie minutes. Everyone on Cleveland played well. The thing about Indiana is there's their scoring. They're gonna score every time.
Yeah,
The score was 120 to 119, and we'll get to the next game, but they almost doubled the next game's score.
yeah, yeah. It was really
Like,
crazy.
so yeah, Mitchell was great. Strus was great.
Yeah, he was awesome.
And Cleveland was like the whole game. It felt like Cleveland was gonna win, even with basically until 1.1 seconds left. They were like, yeah, I just I don't believe it.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I think also because like I actually watched back the Halliburton's game-winning three-pointer about like 4 times, just analyzing because my mind couldn't understand it. Just analyzing like his arm, like he was whatever the opposite of square to the basket is, he was off his back foot, turned to the side, like it didn't make any sense. The shot didn't make any sense. It looked like it was obviously not going in, and he's just a killer. Like it's so funny because he had that whole beef with Dame from last season, right? When with Dame time, whatever. In a weird way, it reminded me of watching Damian Lillard coming up. Like he was just doing.
Ooh, this is a good take. I like this. Take this further. Halliburton is market correcting Dame.
I like that's how it feels to me. He's hitting these ridiculous like Dame at least has like a prettier shot. You know what I'm saying? His game it looks prettier, but it's the same thing. Like Dame was not. People were excited about him, and then like LaMarcus Aldridge left, and was like, okay, what's the deal? How can he like probably whatever? and he had that three to beat that Rockets team. That's what this feels like. Like unexpected. You're beating this team that's this supposed to be this like juggernaut. I know they're injury, whatever, but they're like at home. No one is expecting them to lose this game. No one's expecting the Cavaliers to lose this game, and it just feels like he keeps bringing them home. Like he's like, "Don't worry, guys, I got this."
In the last 3 games, so that's the Bucks clincher, the first Cleveland game, and the second Cleveland game last night. He completely put the team on his back both times.
I don't know. I like that's why it's just so funny to me. Like, I'm I'm actually I'm a very big believer in Tyrese Haliburton. I think that all the team, like very seriously, all the teams I drafted, and I felt this way. I don't watch a lot of college basketball, but I felt this way pretty early on in his career that I was like, wow, a lot of teams made a mistake here. Like, if
Well, don't forget the Kings traded him.
right, 100%. And even at the time, I was like, that's kind of nuts. And Sabonis has been good for the Kings, whatever. Tyrese Haliburton, he's a winning player. He's figured out how to do it in so many different parts of his life. And like for him to be named the most overrated and watching this happen, I'm like, this guy, like if there is ever such a thing as a playoff riser, officially, whatever, this is like watching a pretty incredible rise. This is like he's really he's putting his money where his mouth is.
And I think that a big part of it that not like there's a big debate about how much emphasis to put on this. I think the Olympics matter. And he was there and basically was just like accepted his role as the Christian Laettner on the team of just like, okay, like it's fine. And like I feel like deep down he's like, I'm better than these guys. But like it's okay. It's okay. Like
Right, I think that's
I'm happy to be in France. I'm happy to be enjoying, and I think that kind of ignited him.
Did you see? I think that he's a guy who works like that, and I've like heard him talk about it on podcasts before and whatever. But did you see? He had it from his draft combine. They said that they had an interview where it said that he was following, or maybe it was like just when he was drafted or something like that. And he said, let's check back in a couple of years and see, how that the draft stock panned out. And it's like, yeah, he out of this class, he's had a better career than James Wiseman and LaMelo Ball by far, and it's not close.
Mm-hmm.
And with
Yeah.
LaMelo, I understand the injuries and whatever, more comparable. But I'm saying, like, you think,
No, he's in the Anthony Edwards in realm. He's like a tier below Anthony Edwards.
but imagine he's had Warriors. Imagine if the Warriors had drafted him.
Yeah, it was a weird draft. It was the COVID draft. It was like, he
Or the
eventually
Knicks.
like, or the Knicks. Yeah, no, yeah. I don't like to play this game. They'll like imagine they drafted him because I feel like nobody knows what they're doing with drafting. Like Donovan Mitchell, who dropped 50 tonight, went like 14.
Right.
Like nobody. It was sorry, it was 13.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't matter.
No. You're right. It really changes my point. It doesn't, but it just makes me look stupid. Keep this in, Max, or whoever's editing. Keep it in. Keep it in that I felt like
It also could be that I'm wrong. Actually, I want to look this up now. Yeah.
you can look it up while I make my point.
Yes.
Jokic went in the I think 6th round. Don't correct me. Draymond went in the 3rd round. Like all these guys go late, and then you look in hindsight. Curry went 8th. Like you look in hindsight, you're like, oh, should have drafted them earlier. Giannis, like almost no stars are a top 5 pick. So like to play the game of like, imagine he was drafted earlier, like he should have been drafted earlier. It's like, yeah, they should have, but like no one, I still don't think anyone really knows what they're doing with the draft, which is why I hate just as like this will be my last point on this because I don't think we should return to this conversation. I hate trading for draft picks. Like I was totally fine with the Bridges trade. Less fine because it felt like just like we could get picks for someone else. But I was not like, oh no, my 2031 pick. I was like, yeah, like I don't care. Like I don't think, especially when also then you be a Knicks fan, like you draft guys like Kevin Knox, and I'm just like, all right, like we don't know,
Yeah.
no one knows what they're doing.
I think also first up he was 13th, so I feel vindicated. Um, but again, not that it matters. It's also funny, like to kind of further prove your point. Who was the team that drafted Halliburton?
It wasn't the Kings.
It was.
Oh
We
yeah,
already had we already had Fox. So like they didn't even know what they were doing really.
right. No, yeah, nobody knows what they're doing. Also, some people you draft them and they become like Giannis. Like when Giannis was drafted, nobody thought he'd be Giannis.
But people knew he was like a prospect. There was more
Not
buzz around
Giannis
Giannis.
level. If people knew he'd be Giannis, he'd be a #1 pick.
Yeah, but I think that there was more speculation about what Giannis could be.
Giannis has achieved more of his upside than they could ever dreamed when they drafted him.
For sure, but I think that like if you go back to the coverage, like I think even Bill Simmons commented on like while he was like on TV, he was commenting on it at the time. I think he was like there was a lot of buzz around how interesting Giannis could be as a prospect. Not this level, obviously, but still, like there's a lot of spec.
Right. My point is that if it was at this level, he would be a #1 pick, not a top, no, in the teens. So like, I just think drafting is stupid. Anyway, not stupid. I guess the better word is nobody knows how to do it well.
Except for
It's
the
like just it's kind of a crapshoot. Okay, next, Warriors. This one might be the most shocking of all the upsets. Warriors beat everything's shocking about this. They win 99-88. So first of all, the score is like what? The Timberwolves only scored 88 points. Second of all, Curry left with a hamstring injury in the either end of the first or second quarter. I don't remember anymore. So they played at least 3 quarters, maybe 2.5 quarters, without Steph Curry, and they won by 11. Buddy Hield is turning into Klay Thompson in front of our eyes. Uh, Jimmy Butler is really good. He's really, really good.
also
Draymond,
he's limping, which is like
yeah, that's like classic him though. Like he does like this. I'm used to it with Brunson. Um, Edwards, 23 points, 14 rebounds, 9 of 22 shooting. Levy, what happened here?
I watched it
How
back.
is this? Yeah, can give me your thoughts.
I just think that they're the Timberwolves are my prognosis is they have ADD. They procrastinate into the last second, and until their backs are against the wall or they feel like an intensity, they just kind of are chill about whatever they're doing. Like Anthony Edwards had 23 points. There were very long stretches of this game that I did not know that he was in. Like he just didn't seem engaged, and like this is an opportunity to go up 1-0 against the Warriors, like get an effective lead. Steph Curry was out, and like he was like, Steph is out. I'll take a seat. Like I want it to be like equal talent level.
Yeah, this is where something doesn't make sense to me. Like, tell me if you agree with this. I agree with the statement I'm going to make. The Lakers were worse than the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
Okay, right? I think that's fair because the Timberwolves beat them in 5.
yeah.
I think that the Lakers, now put that aside, I think the Lakers would not have lost this game when Steph got hurt in the first quarter. Do you also agree with that?
Yeah.
So how did they lose this? Like, how do they beat the Lakers in 5 and lose to a Warriors team without Steph?
Because Anthony Edwards didn't feel the competitiveness. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying until he feels like he has something to go at, he wants to prove that he's like the best, he's not interested. Until he feels that the game is close and it's the end of the game or whatever, like he's not like he's kind of just hanging out. And I think that he really feels like I think that he felt like he was playing as like the B team. And he was like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll just let like, Naz Reid go off or Nikhil get time. Like I don't know. It was
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Um, I have, you know what else? I have one thought on the Timberwolves, but I'm going to save it for another game. I'll ask you this question instead. You predicted Warriors win game one, Timberwolves win next four. But your logic for that prediction was the Steph Curry game. So we did not have a Steph Curry game. So assuming that uh that Steph is healthy and the hamstring thing was just some tightness and he's fine, and he comes back, do you now think this is a much closer series because we didn't have the Steph game, so that's like that's good for a game, or this was the this was the one win they're not gonna get more?
This was going to be the Steph Curry game, and they won. He had 13 and 13, like 13 minutes, 13 points. Steph was going off. He was dancing out
Right.
there. He was hitting threes.
So you're saying this counts? This is the Steph.
I think this was it. I think this is it. I think that it's a left hamstring strain. Like, it's actually interesting. When Steph went out, he wasn't doing anything strenuous. Like, he actually was just dribbling. Like, he was just walking around. I think that, like, it was concerning enough that he didn't play the rest of the game. Like, it was like concerning.
Yeah, the non-contact injuries really scare me.
Right. So I think, and especially if they want to keep trying to push forward in the playoffs, and especially if everybody else is kind of already banged up, like to have a, fresher Steph, if maybe he doesn't play the next game, he comes back like, game 3, because at any point there, then they're trying to turn the series, and now they're still like, now they're up 1. So maybe like more strategic in a sense. But I really think that some switch gets turned on when he's like, oh, like I'm across the floor from Curry, like, all right, now it's on. Like, it is like a little bit Michael Jordan-ish, that he's like seeing the other, like, it brings out the competitor in him, and that's what's exciting to him, is not like the
Yeah. So
like
I think that the difference between him and Michael Jordan, and there's a lot of differences, but Michael Jordan wouldn't have lost this game. Maybe he would have lost it. I'll tell you when he would have lost it. Trying to get his 6th ring. When he's like looking for some sort of motivation because he's already won 5 rings and is undoubtedly the best player in the world. Oh, I'm not gonna try if John Stockton's not in. Like, this is not fun. Anthony Edwards has not been to a finals yet. And like, I think that I don't like that attitude of like, I'm the best when you're not the best yet. You're on your way. But like, to lose game 1 of a playoff game, I'm not even sure you're right. Meaning we don't know. It could be Anthony Edwards if you ask him, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, I just wasn't good. Like, I didn't. That's not true." But like, right, my argument is based off your argument for what you think is going on in Anthony Edwards' head. But but my point is if that's like the way he's thinking, and I think you might be right, which is why I'm making the argument, is I don't like these. Like, the only player who's allowed to think like that in this league is LeBron. Like, he's the only one that's earned it. Even Steph, because there's still more for him to like chase. And Durant for sure. I can talk about Durant. We don't have to get into a Durant argument. But my point is that for sure Anthony Edwards, who's this young and has achieved no MVPs, no finals appearances, like, it is way too early for him to be like this like, I need something else to drive me if Steph's not playing. Like, you know what needs to drive you? It needs to drive you that you've never made a finals. Like, show me what you got.
Yeah. No, 100%. You're not wrong. I just think that, like, when do you see Ant come alive, really, was like Lakers, like when he knew that, like when he like, could see the blood.
No, I
Better.
agree. I just think, that's what I'm saying. I think I agree with you. I just think it's a problem.
Yeah. No,
Like, I'm flagging
100%.
it. I'm flagging it.
Something to note.
Okay. Yeah. Predictions. Knicks Boston tonight. Will this streak continue of the underdog winning games? My mom texted me. There's no way this ever happened. That the first
No,
5 games of round 2.
First,
Yeah. Like, the all underdog ones, the first 5 games. It's just crazy.
it's not.
But maybe first 6.
Maybe.
It's hard to predict a Knicks win.
Yeah.
Celtics are favored by 10.5. But I'm doing it.
Ooh.
Let's go, Knicks!
That's big. Listen,
Yeah, but it's more just fun. But yeah, like why not? Let's go, Knicks.
I was listening to Bill Simmons talk about it yesterday or 2 days ago that Jaylen Brown just doesn't
Yeah,
look
it was
the same.
yesterday. Well, I think the panic, where they should panic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Should they panic? I don't think Jaylen Brown is
yeah.
the same. Jason Tatum cannot hit the backboard even for his life. Whatever, it's a whole other thing. And Porzingis is out. Drew is looking okay. There's so like each of those pieces is important independently. Of course, Derek White, but Derek White is just he's awesome. I think that if the Knicks are able to play as hard-nosed as they did game one, and Boston is banged up like they are, and they kind of show like the lack of motivation in a weird way that they were last game. I think it's very possible they win game two.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and we didn't get a good Towns game, so the hope is get a good Towns game. That's the case for the Knicks. The case for Boston is we lost by 3 in overtime and missed 45 threes. That's not going to happen again.
100%.
So, like, meaning all the analytics of, like, this guy looked slow, this guy looked that. Like, we lost by 3 in overtime and missed 45 threes.
But they also they don't have Hauser either, who was for their perimeter shooting, they have, like, all those, lineups, metrics, whatever. So we'll see what happens. It's fun. I think I'm going to take Boston just because it's safe. I don't think that they're in by that much.
Smart pick. That is the smart pick. Money is on Boston.
Yeah.
And Denver OKC, I think we're both going to pick the Thunder. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to predict what I predicted yesterday for either of these teams, which is I now think the Pacers won the series. I don't think the Knicks being up 2-0 or Denver being up 2-0 means that they won the series.
Yeah.
Like, I think OKC and Boston and I've thought this all season, are a level above Cleveland. And that being down 2-0 was just like, it's not great, but it's not, it doesn't, it doesn't by any means mean it's over. I'm going to predict the Thunder win, because I really think they're really, really good. But I'm ready for anything with Jokic now.
Yeah, I think.
Like, what if he has a 50-30?
I think it's exactly that point. I don't think that he can, like, we saw from last series, he's an incredible player. Even his floor is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Where like his bad games are like 25, 6, and 7.
But yeah, but they lost. The Thunder lost last game off of a mistake on their end. Like it was by
You're saying at the end.
Yeah. So like I mean, like even with his absolutely generational game that he had, the Thunder could have really pulled it out. So I really think that it's not you can't clone a game like that. Like that's like a really whatever you want.
The thing is, though, nothing would surprise me with him. Like if he had a 50-30 game, I'm just like, okay, of course.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's also. Bill Simmons had a really interesting point. I just want to go back to about the Celtics that he said that they're actually like not a good rebounding team, and that made me like go check. I was like, oh, he's actually right about that. It's funny because the Nuggets, like, if you look at them, because Jokic does so much of the handling, whatever, a lot of the supplementary stats, you guys like, a lot of the guys don't really put up stats in those ways because Jokic is such a focal point of everything. Like, no matter what it is, Jokic is in the center of it on offense, on defense. Rebounding, whatever, like
coaching,
literally, yeah.
He's doing it all. All right, so yeah, it should be fun. You have the Thunder, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, that was the NBA Daily Recap in 15 minutes or less. I want to thank you, Levi, for co-hosting, for producing, and for just being a friend. I like you a lot, Levi. And I want to thank Max for working on the back end again. He's good to have Max back. I want to thank you for listening.